Okay, so we are live now. Thank you so much for your patience. There's a bit of a technology issue there. All right, so welcome to our Nature Hero Talks 3.0. So basically, M&S is a membership base, and you're welcome to join us. We have for family members only 80 ringgit, and for youth and KPA school, if your school is not yet a KPA school, you let me know, then we can discuss with your teacher on in setting up one. So you can go to mns.my/join us. Being part of M&S, you're actually a very strong voice for nature because we have 14 branches across Malaysia. And objectives of this series of talk is to provide basic understanding of the environment around us, about the stars, the earth, plants and animals, and how we can interact to take care of them. And of course, we would like to encourage you as students to take science stream. So in particular on conservation and environment, because we do need more of this profession to take care of the environment. Hopefully by the end of this talk, we can have more activities in nature guiding, like in the forest, bird watching and a beach. And if everything goes smoothly, MCO is lifted, we can even organize camping at Tanjung Tuan, Port Dickson. So the process of the talk is about 30 minutes, and then we have a 10-minute Q&A where you can do the quiz as well. And again, we have 5 prizes to give away. So the fastest 5 will win the prizes. And e-certificates will be emailed later on. This one, let me explain further next page. So we will have participation certificates. Because this one is a requirement by Ministry of Education, they said our 10 questions is insufficient. So we need to have a minimum of 30 questions to receive a certificate. In this case, after every 3 talks, we will submit the students who achieve 70% minimum passing to the MOE for their approval to get a participation certificate. And also we need to do a follow-up action, okay? So this one later on, I think in every event, there is a follow-up action. So you can go back to the event and then you can see what are the follow-up actions, and we will highlight at the end of the talk. And then we will have a mini competition in November, on 13th of November, and more details will be revealed, but this one will be like a challenge, and the top 5 will be given certificates by the Ministry of Education. We're still working out for more detail on this, so we'll make announcements later on. And of course, the prizes are sponsored by Turtle Conservation Society, Dominic, and also Salute. So these are the 3 sponsors for the prizes. Thank you very much. And we use the app for the talk because there are many benefits, and of course one of them is that you can do the quiz in the app itself and to win prizes. Okay. This is a series of talks. We hope you stay with us for the whole series because we would like you to know the complete set of environmental issues that we have, and do stick with us, and we have many great speakers coming up. All right. If you haven't liked our Facebook page or YouTube, kindly do so. Yenji maybe can help to key and put into the chat box for you all to click and like. Okay. And now today, I'll pass the hosting over to Lanisha and Yenji to take over. Thank you very much.
All right. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to introduce about the speaker. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, so our speaker of the day is Muhammad Fuad. He's a graduate from the National University of Malaysia, UKM, majoring in geology. His final year project involves the hydrogeological study on granite rocks in Silk Highway, Hulu Langat, Selangor, Malaysia. He has also participated in various field research group projects, not only in Malaysia, but also internationally in Indonesia. And he's also a trained musician. He has his own band called Last Minute Band, and he has also represented UKM at national level. So he's also a basketball player. So he plays for the National Community Basketball League and has also participated in various programs that includes volunteering, leadership, and cultural programs. All right. So that's it for Muhammad Fuad's biodata. So I think he's not here yet. He said that he's having some problem with his laptop, so probably have to wait till he comes.
Okay, while waiting, because Ford is actually at the airport for those who come in late. He's actually traveling today, so we thank him. But of course, there's a bit of inconvenience. But we thank him for making the effort to hold this talk, scheduled talk. We had this schedule a long time ago. Let me share with you about follow-up activities in that case. Let me open. Because as we try to deliver the message to you, it's important that you understand and then you do a practical. This is why what we call follow-up actions. So let me share with you how you can do that. We know that students, maybe some of you are very young, you're not familiar with this. So I just share with you how you can do that. And if there are any issues, you can always ask your teacher to message me, or you can message me directly. Okay. Okay. So this is the event like last week, 2 weeks ago. So we were looking at saving Starry Night. And then as you go down, of course, you must click to participate, okay, for this icon to come up. If you, so for example, if you don't click it, then the actions will not come up. So you must click to attend, and that will give you already 10 points. And here with my Sky Challenge, you click on that. So this one will give you 50 points. All right. So the quiz only give you 20 points, and we give you 50 points because we value the practical side of this particular talk. Okay. We want you to go and put into practice what you learned, so that you will remember this in your mind. So in this case, it's very you got to click to this link to fill up the form to determine the sky condition in your area, and then you can describe the condition, and then an email will be sent to you about your condition, and then you take the light pollution pass that has been emailed to you, then you upload into your Facebook page, and then you tag, in this case, Apadi Langit, and also MNS N9 Malacca and Nature Hero Talks. Nature Hero Talks is hashtag, okay? And then you come back here, then you get the link from Facebook, and then you will attach here. So here you can say, like in this case, let's say this case is a night sky, okay, the title of the challenge. And then you put your posting here, your Facebook posting that you uploaded. Let's say I have something here, I just copy a post, okay, and then just Control C to copy, and then you paste. This is your post, okay? This is only an example I'm giving you, all right? And then you can put your location, where you're from. Maybe you're from Kedah, and that's it. And then you click submit, okay? So upon submission, automatically you will get 50 points. And with that, you definitely is very good for gaining your points. And that's all you need to do, very simple, okay? And so I just cancel that. And then for today, we also have an activity for you, My Rock, 50 eco points, okay? So later on after the talk, you can do this within the next 2 weeks. So there's no rush, all right? Linisha, is she back?
No sign of him yet.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. All right.
All right, then. I stop sharing. Over to you, Ford. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Since I've been in quite a rush since morning, I would like to make this session as relaxed as possible. Okay. So my name is Fuad. I'm from Podikson, Negeri Sembilan. I'm currently in Sabah in the airport because I'll be going back home soon. My flight is later in the evening. All right. Okay. Before I start, let's just have, let's say, one or two to introduce themselves. If I could, let's say, pick a name here. Padmanathan. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Hi, Padmanathan. How about you share a bit about yourself while I take my breath for a while?
Okay, I'm a teacher in
Hi.
Sekolah Tamil Sungai Manggis. Just
Okay.
that you mentioned from Banting.
Oh, I see.
I'm a science teacher.
A
And there
science
are
teacher.
there are 19 participants from my school. All of them are students. And there are from standard 4 until standard 6.
Okay, okay. Very nice, very nice. All right. Okay, thank you. Maybe I have one more. How about this one? Nur Aina Fatiha. Are you there? Hello? Nur Aina, are you there? Okay, all right, all right. How about Rashini? Are you there, Rashini? Okay. All right, that's all right. I think we have shy ones today, no worries. Just to share with everyone, I'm actually also a very shy person. I once took a personality test and it was confirmed a reliable personality test that I'm actually an introvert. So no worries, I understand the feelings and situation. All right, okay. Okay, so without further ado, let me just start with my talk on geology.
What?
Yes.
What, your audio is not very good. It's clear, but there's static. Can you maybe come closer to the mic?
Okay. Can you hear better now?
Not much better, but it's okay. I think that's how it is. Carry on.
Oh, okay. So sorry. Okay. So an introduction to geology. Okay. Everyone would wonder what is geology. And so first I will introduce our solar system. In the solar system, we have few planets. But the one I would like to mention to us is here. We are on Earth. And here we are not too far from the sun. Okay, so what is geology? So it comes from the word geo, meaning earth, and also logos, meaning study. Therefore, geology is the study of earth. But what do we study about earth? So it's actually a science field, and it studies on whatever about the earth. What is it made of, and how the earth changes. All right. What can we take from the earth? What should we give back to the earth? All included. And so just to share with everyone, the earth is actually 4.54 billion years, according to scientists. Okay. Yeah, you can see here, it looks like grandpa.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, and this is the geologic time scale. Okay, in geology, everyone, we have our own time scales. For example, let's say myself, I am now 26 years old. Some would say young, some would say old. But in geology, 250 million years old is considered quite young. All right? Since the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, so I would say somewhere around 350 million maybe, one would say that's an old age for the Earth. Okay. And so in this time scale here, there are a lot of things. It shows that, for example, in 250 million years ago, we have what scientists call Triassic times, and this is where there were the first dinosaurs.
So it's called Triassic period.
Sorry?
It's called Triassic period.
Yes, correct. Triassic period. In the Triassic period is where we have the first dinosaurs. Contrary to popular belief, where we always see in movies they put in Jurassic Park, well, actually, according to scientists, according to us geologists, Jurassic is where we find our first birds. In Jurassic, most dinosaurs have actually been extinct in the Jurassic period. Okay, and then we also have, let's say, in Pennsylvania here, we have our first insects, and also in Permian, we have our first reptiles. We are now currently in the Quaternary period, or if we call our epoch, the Holocene epoch, where we humans now live. Okay. And so I would like to share a bit on the structure of the Earth. So we have four main structures of the Earth. First, we have the crust, the outermost part, the mantle beneath the crust, the outer core beneath the mantle, and then the inner core is the innermost part of the Earth, which is a solid.
So I also know a lot about the.
Sorry, Hakesh, is it?
Yes, sir. The outer core is also made out of magma.
Yes, correct, Hakesh. Very good. Where are you from, Hakesh?
From Malaysia, Negeri Sembilan.
Okay, which school are you from?
Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Family Convent.
All right. Okay, very good. You seem to have an interest about the Earth. I hope you will enjoy this talk. Okay. All right. So besides being mantle, outer core, and inner core, there are many names as well, according to scientists. But let's just take these four names: crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. The inner core is a solid. The outer core is a liquid, and also the mantle is considered also fluid or liquid. And this is where, like Haki said just now, where magma is. Okay. All right. So what happens beneath the Earth? So we have the crust here. The crust is where we live on. And beneath the crust, we have what we call as the mantle. And the mantle is where there is the magma. Okay, and in the magma, it causes the Earth to move. Okay, this is my favorite part of geology because I'm also a master's student doing structural geology and tectonics. So just to share a bit on what I study. Okay, so this is how the magma beneath the Earth moves. The magma from below moves up and down, up and down, which we call convection currents. And this is just an illustration of how it really is. And when the magma moves, the crust will also move together. And therefore, it can make the crust whether to separate or whether it can also collide each other. And this is what we call plate tectonics.
So, and it also.
Yes, Hakesh?
I mean, it makes it easily. It makes a volcano very easily.
Yes, correct. This is also how volcanoes are formed. When the crust actually separates, magma comes out and it forms the volcano. Thank you, Hakesh. Very good. And so, just to share a bit on what I study, believe it or not, the Earth usually back in the time, we were actually all united, yes, and this one whole continent is called Pangaea, and due to the plate tectonics or convection currents, the plates, what we call, or all this crust, separate and become what we have right now. So, meaning to say that Malaysia usually could have easily been just beside London, or let's say the US could have usually been just beside Africa. Okay.
Actually, sir.
Yes.
Actually, Malaysia should have stick with Thailand or Singapore.
Sorry, what? Sorry, Akesh. Can you repeat, Akesh?
So I mean, Malaysia might only stick with Thailand or Singapore because they are the most closest.
Yes, correct. But just to share with everyone that there was a possibility that Malaysia could have been elsewhere before this, but due to the constant movement of the Earth, we are where we are now. Okay. And so, right. So there are many studies in geology, like Linusha just shared just now. If everyone has heard, there are many types of geology. There are chemistry, geophysics. There's also the studies for volcanism. There are paleontologists. Paleontology is the study of fossils. This is very interesting. And then there's also engineering and also environmental. And my most favorite for me personally is marine geology because I love the ocean.
And the deepest is also Mariana Trench.
Yes. Okay, so here are examples of fossils just to catch your interest, everyone's interest. These are cephalopods fossil. Cephalopods are ancient animals, but in modern times, the most closest animals to a cephalopod is a squid or an octopus. Okay. There are also trilobite fossils. Right. So trilobites are what we call insects back in the day, but there are no similar animals anymore here in this time.
They are already extinct.
Yes, correct. Very good, Hakesh.
Sorry, Hakesh. Could you leave all the comments, question to the end, because speaker need to rush. He need to catch the flight back to to home, flight home. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Vati. All right. Okay. And also, there is also this is called a dinosaur fossil. This is a dinosaur tail in Sabah here. It was found by paleontologists from Malaysia, UK, and also Australia. All right. It has been in Borneo, in Sabah, for more than 72 million years. Just to share with everyone. Yeah. Okay, so to our main topic. the most important thing in geology is about the study of rocks. So people would normally forsake rocks. People don't usually think much about rocks. But as a geologist, myself, I look at rocks every day. I appreciate rocks so much. In fact, I love rocks. I in fact have 8 rocks as well for study purposes. Okay, so there are 3 main types of rocks, which are the igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. Okay, just to share with everyone. Okay, so does anyone know where this is? What is this?
A volcano.
Oh, not quite right, Akash. Anyone else?
I think that is an extincted volcano that is
Okay.
already exposed.
All right. Okay. No, okay. You are on the right track, Akash, but not quite. This is actually from Sabah. It is Mount Kinabalu. Okay. All right. So this is
I didn't
yeah. Okay. No worries. All right. And so just to share with everyone, I've been to Mount Kinabalu just last year, before COVID strikes and all the lockdown happened. Okay, so this is just a picture of me with my friends, and just to share with everyone what I saw up there in Kinabalu are these beautiful rocks accompanied by those beautiful clouds there behind there. So I believe Kinabalu is around 4.095 kilometers of height, and it comes from the Kadazan work Kinabalu. Oh, sorry, I can't remember. Never mind. But the Kinabalu comes from a Kadazan word, and it means the place for resting, where souls rest. Okay, right. So this is me, just to share how the rocks are up there. Most of these rocks are actually igneous rocks.
Igneous.
Okay.
Igneous.
Igneous, yes, correct. Okay.
Sometimes.
All right. And so the people in Sabah really cherish this mountain because, as the name says, it's where some Sabahans believe where their ancestors' soul rest. They rest in the Kinabalu Park, and so it just shows that how important this Mount Kinabalu is to the Sabahan people, as well as how the rocks formed at Kinabalu there is also cherished as well, because the rocks are what forms the mountains. Okay, and so this is one view at Kinabalu from when you reach the peak of the mountain, and if you come at the right timing, you can have this wonderful, wonderful view. You can see the sunrise and how the color, the spectrum of colors from the sun merges into something so beautiful, accompanied by all these rocks. Okay. And so those are igneous rocks, just like how Hakesh said. Thank you so much, Hakesh. And these rocks are actually formed from magma or lava. How does it form? It forms when the magma or lava cools down. And one might wonder, what is the difference between magma or lava? And so the only difference is, magma is anything that is underneath the earth, while lava is whenever the magma comes out of the earth. And so lava will form what we call as volcanic rocks. These are just 3 examples, but just to show in a larger scale of how these rocks will look like. Okay, this is volcano at Mount Bromo in Indonesia. All right, just to show how the formation of rocks can give so much beauty for us all to pleasure. And okay, this is a photo of me back in Bandung. This was in, if I could recall, Bandung the name was Kawah Putih. Well, all right. So it is a volcano, but the volcano is considered dead, inactive volcano, and therefore there's only water coming out from the volcano left, and the water is white due to sulfur. All right, these are called basaltic formations, and this is in Sabah, I believe. This is in Sabah, yeah. These are called columnar basalts. These are the formations that they form. They form some sort of steps due to the chemistry of the rocks itself. Okay, these are also columnar basalts. From a different angle, you can get very, very beautiful pictures. And if accompanied by a waterfall, wow, you don't see this every day. Okay, but this is actually from Iceland, I believe. Iceland, yeah. Volcanic rocks are not.
Island.
Sorry, what?
It wasn't Iceland actually. Ireland mostly can find.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, volcanic rocks are not that much frequently seen in Malaysia because due to not much volcanoes here in Malaysia. And so in Malaysia, we have what we call as this intrusive rocks. Okay, so this is one example of one everyday rock that we can see every day. If we go through cross highways, we can see those road cuttings. Most of them are usually granitic rocks. And in granitic and an igneous rock is actually a formation, is a combination of many sorts of minerals. So one example, one most common mineral is called the feldspar, which usually comes as white or pink. And also another most common mineral is called the quartz. Okay, next we have these sedimentary rocks. They are formed from other rocks through physical and chemical weathering.
Sir, I know how they made it. They're made from igneous and sedimentary.
Yes, wonderful, correct. Okay, so this is one example where we can see usually from the roadsides of sedimentary rocks.
Like deserts.
And if I can share this one, this is in Langkawi. So these are called sandstone rocks. All right. And one example also from Langkawi, this is a combination of a mudstone rock and as well as a volcanic rock, if I'm not mistaken. Also in Langkawi, you can see that the structure that they form looks somewhat like a marble cake. All right, so yes, this is one of the more beauties of Langkawi, I would say. Langkawi is a geoheritage now since back in 2000, I think in 2013, 15, if I'm not mistaken, not that, or is it? Oh, sorry, I think it's back in 2000. It was already considered a geoheritage. And okay, so if everyone knows where this is at Batu Cave. I myself have not reached here yet, unfortunately. And someone can correct me. I believe there are around 270 plus steps just to climb up to the cave. So in Batu Cave is where we find limestones, and limestones are also considered as sedimentary rocks. Okay, so this is inside of Batu Cave. Batu Cave is where is also where the people pray. And so just to show that how rocks can form places for people to pray, how people appreciate what rocks form for all of us. And during Thaipusam, this is how it will usually look like here in Batu Cave. I myself have not experienced this situation yet. I planned to come to Batu Caves last year actually. last year, but that unfortunate timing, I couldn't get. I was busy and all. But if anyone of you has the opportunity to go to Batu Caves during Thaipusam, just to see the culture, what people they experience, to feel the experience yourself, I gladly welcome everyone. Okay, so everyone, in Batu Caves, there are limestones. Limestones is an example of a sedimentary rock. And if you see here, there are at least 3 different morphologies you can see here. So one example morphology here, the rock that grows from below is called the stalagmite. The rock that forms this curtain up here, these curtains are called stalactite. And whenever they have combined, they are called pillars or columns. So these are examples of how rocks can form and this beautiful morphologies that rocks create. And then there are also metamorphic rocks. So these are rocks that are formed due to high temperature and also pressure. Okay, so just to show everyone how they actually form. Okay, so this is one example. Let's just say that this square is a granitic rock, and these are all the minerals that are in the granite rocks. And then when you give it pressure and also give it heat, very, very high pressure and heat, okay, the minerals will rearrange themselves to rearrange into, let's say, this straight next to each other sort of structure, or also they can also form lines due to the compaction and also due to the heat. And so, for example, this was the granite rock that I showed you just now. Due to high pressure and as well as high temperature, it can change its form into something like this, which we call gneiss. If you look closely, the colors are the same. In fact, the minerals are also, most of them are the same, but due to higher pressure and also temperature, they create different kind of structures in the rock. And in a large scale, usually we can see this as metamorphic rocks. Okay, so the rocks, they can actually recycle between each other, meaning to say igneous can turn into sedimentary rocks, and also igneous can also turn back into metamorphic rocks, and metamorphic rocks can change back, same as sedimentary, and vice versa. Okay, to explain more on this, I would like to invite my friend here to explain.
Hi, my name is Thor Robertson. Today I'm going to be teaching you about the rock cycle. First, you need to know about the 3 different types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. Each of these rocks has a unique way of forming and can even transform into one another. Now, let's start by explaining how igneous rocks form. This volcano looks like it's about to erupt. Beneath the Earth's crust is liquid magma. Magma usually travels to the Earth's surface through volcanoes. Once the liquid hot magma makes its way above ground, it cools and hardens over time into new rock. These rocks that form are what we know as igneous rocks. Sedimentary and metamorphic rocks can become igneous rocks by melting and hardening, although this is a very rare occurrence. Now, let's move on to sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are easy to identify because of their name. Sedimentary rocks are composed of loose sediments, hence the name. Parts of igneous and metamorphic rocks can become sedimentary rocks through weathering, erosion, compaction, and cementation. Weathering and erosion are natural forces that cause pieces of rocks to break off into smaller sediments. This is usually caused by wind or the water. These sediments then get carried away and gather over time, as you can see here. This is called deposition. Now, compaction and cementation binds these sediments together with pressure and other earth elements, specifically water. The rocks that form are what we know as sedimentary rocks. Finally, let's discuss metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks form from a process, similarly called metamorphosis. Metamorphosis occurs when other rocks are subject to intense heat and pressure. Let's take a look. Underground, magma can find its way through porous and loose materials. When the magma can't get to the surface, it starts to change the sediments and materials that are close enough to feel its heat. The heat from the magma and the pressure from the tons of material above cause the surrounding sediments and materials to change their composition and structure. Metamorphosis usually occurs at temperatures between 300 and 700 degrees Celsius. These new rocks that form are what we know as metamorphic rock. Igneous and sedimentary rocks can go through metamorphosis if they are buried deep enough under the Earth's surface and if they are exposed to high enough temperatures. Let's get back to my office now. As you can see, rocks form in many ways, and each rock has the potential to become a different kind of rock under the right circumstances. The rock cycle has existed for as long as we can date back. Rocks have been forming and transforming for millions of years. The Earth is made of rocks, and now you know how they form. Thanks for watching. I'm Thor Robertson.
Okay, just to confirm with anyone, did everyone heard the video just now?
Yes, we heard it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so back to, so I hope from that video everyone gets an idea of how rocks recycle to one another. And now just one more sharing I would like to share with all of you. Rocks usually comes in cracks. And me, as a structural geologist, I like to learn on how these cracks or whatever lines we see on rocks form. Okay, this is just one example. So to just share with everyone how rocks have cracks and all. Usually rocks, when they move due to tectonics, due to the convection currents, they will collide with each other. And once collided, then cracks are formed. Why, how can they form? Because it's a work of nature. So for example, if you take two biscuits and hit them with one another, they will crack or they will break. So same thing that goes for rocks. But of course, the amount of energy to break rocks are usually much higher, which can only be given by the Earth. And so after a while, there is rain and also sunshine. Rocks tend to break down by erosion, or what we call as weathering, if you heard from the video just now. And then after this natural processes occur on rocks, they will usually bring out some sediments from the rocks. And when sediments come out from these cracks, the cracks usually become much larger. And according on how the cracks are formed and how much erosion or weathering occurs, this can actually be formed. This is one structure that is actually not far from home. This is in Bukit Baginda, the Wave Rock in Negeri Sembilan. So just to show that how the earth processes that occur from how you saw just now, from weathering, from the rock cycle, from the type of rocks, from how convection currents work, they're all aligned to make this one beautiful structure where everyone can appreciate. And this is also from an aerial view of the Bukit Baginda Wave Rock. Beautiful. Okay. And so just to share with everyone, why do we study geology? First and foremost, geologists we also study on how earthquakes on volcanoes and landslides, because those are all due to the movement of the earth also as rocks. And that's why as geologists, we have a responsible to contribute back to society on managing these geohazards, we call them. We sure cannot stop earthquakes, but we can always predict when earthquakes or volcanoes, if there's volcanoes, that is about to happen. I found out during my trip back in 2017 at Indonesia. Usually the local people there in Indonesia, how they monitor the volcanoes is that they have this one volcano guy that actually lives up there to warn all the people should he see that there's any eruption that's about to happen from the volcano. Okay, just I'm sharing. And so the other reason why we study geology is because rocks are actually, they provide whatever we have in our everyday life. For example, we have aluminum cans. Aluminum, they come from bauxite. Bauxite provide aluminum which we use up to this day. And as well from rocks also, where we get our lithiums for our handphones, battery handphones. And as well from rocks, we get our metals to make cars, as well as petroleum, because petroleum is actually stored in rocks, and we dig up rocks, and oil and gas industries dig up rocks to get petroleum to fuel up our cars, and rocks also provide all the materials we need for our homes. But even before even before houses, rocks actually you already create homes for many people, for like when caveman times. So yeah, that's why rocks are actually very important. And last but not least, why we all should study geology is to protect the environment. Why I share this with everyone? For example, I can share one study case in Pahang, where people illegally mine for bauxite. Mining is the activity of searching for specific minerals in rocks, and then we dig them up and extract all the minerals from there. Okay. Usually, as a geologist, we have our rules and regulations that we should adhere to when it comes to mining. And so, when there are people that don't adhere to those rules, people that don't understand geology or what impacts that could come when people mine like this without any knowledge. Okay, just to share, this is how bauxite look like. They can bring environmental impacts because uncontrollable mining can create floods actually due to people not managing where they dispose of all the waste that comes from mining. As well, due to uncontrollable mining, they pollute the water around the area. So this water now looks like teh tarik. And these are actually very contagious waters. They have very much, they are very high in heavy metals. And one example here just to show on how illegal mining, due to lack of knowledge in geology, can actually pollute the waters and all the habitat and all the animals in it. And just to share with everyone as well, not just to the waters, lack of control in mining also pollutes the air and all environment. It affects us because we breathe this air. This is actually in Kuantan, Pahang, I believe. So the people in Pahang had to suffer this contagious air, and this is actually very dangerous because of the heavy metals in the air. So that's why everyone, I encourage to please protect the environment. Doesn't matter as a geologist, as a hydrologist, as someone who just loves animals, we should all protect the environment for the greater good, for ourselves as well. And just to share with everyone, just to show that as geologists, as any environmentalists, we can all be superheroes, starting from you guys as well. Okay? I end with that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fuad, for your very insightful speech. Thank you so much for joining us today. Despite you being in the airport, you have made the effort to be present for today's talk. Thank you so much. All right. So let me share the screen. Fuad, you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay, sure thing.
All right. Okay. 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 So as you can see, we are going to have the Q&A session as well as the quiz at the same time. So the quiz link, you can go to the app, the Eco Planners online app. Can you see? Yeah. So there's a link there for a quiz, so you can get access to the quiz. Okay, so the fastest 5 to submit their quiz answers will be getting 5 prizes sponsored by Turtle Conservation Society and Mr. Dominic Sullivan and Salute. So now I pass it to Yanni for the Q&A session.
Thank you, Anisha. Great talk, Fuad, but there might be some glitches in your speech, so I was helping to do the real-time transcription. People heard most of that. So I have a list of questions from participants, and I hope. Okay. The first question is from Venetia. What made you pursue geology?
Okay, thank you. All right, so my passion in geology starts back when I was in Form 3. My brother actually took marine biology. He loved the ocean so much, and he studied actually in Sabah here in UMS, University of Malaysia Sabah, where he was in the same department with the geology students. And so they had much interactions together. And whenever my brother would come back home, because back when I was in Form 3, I didn't have much clear picture of what I wanted to be. And then whenever he shared stories about how the geologists go to field work, how they climb, how they go hiking almost every weekend, it really intrigued me. And I would say, even when I was young, I had a close relationship with nature. And so due to all that stories and all, and also to my relationship with nature, I decided back then, up to now, I wanted to be a geologist, no matter what. All right, so that's just a bit of how it happened.
Thank you. Yeah, I can see that the environment around you can really nurture you with your passion. So that's a really good story. Thanks for sharing. Another question that I want to ask, do you know what type of fossils are more found in different types of rocks? Are there different fossils found in, for example, sedimentary or igneous rocks?
Okay. So for everyone's information, it is impossible to find fossils in igneous rocks. Number one is because the igneous rocks comes from magma or lava. So should there that is deep enough to be together with the magma, won't leave any traces of their morphologies on rocks. Okay, fossils are usually found in sedimentary rocks, because when sedimentary rocks are formed, there is the I would say, let's say, animal that is buried together with it, it leaves an imprint on the rocks. Some fossils can be found in metamorphic, but very, very rare. Due to the high pressure and temperature, it usually breaks down the morphology that forms in the in the metamorphic rock. But I would say that 100% it's only in sedimentary rocks, but in rare cases you can find it in metamorphic rocks.
That's very interesting. I didn't know you can find fossils in metamorphic rocks. That's really cool. Okay, since in the interest of time, maybe we take just one more question. One last question. How can geology help the environment?
Okay. All right. As someone who learns geology, I can share from my own view and perspective. Due to us being so much closer to nature, then there's always that love relationship with rocks. Okay, many environmental issues currently are actually due to people misuse of all these resources. Maybe rocks, maybe from trees, maybe also as well from animals. And so by studying for myself, by studying geology, we as geologists, we should always advise to the developers to always limit their exploitation of these earth materials. Okay, right, and it will be such a waste. For example, whenever someone mines rocks, people mine rocks from all these beautiful mountains, and whenever they mine rocks, they will definitely cut all the trees, all included. And whenever, can you imagine when mountains are demolished, the breathtaking views, all those beautiful structures, they turn them all together as well. So even in the geology society, there have been discussions on how we contribute and also help to create policies on how to manage the exploitation of these rocks and minerals, because there have been policies for air pollution, water pollution. So there should also be a policy for keeping rocks intact, not to extra exploit them. And one of the efforts that many geologists have made is working with UNESCO to create all these geoheritages, for example, in Langkawi as well in Kinabalu here.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, Andy. You have time for one more question because you have 4 more minutes left. So one more question will be okay.
Sure.
So, okay, the next question is from Yok Moy. Apart from the columnar basalt near Tawau and limestone caves around Malaysia, are there any other interesting geological formations in Malaysia that are easily accessible to the public?
Okay, one recent discovery that my lecturers actually made. If anyone here is from or has a kampung dekat in the east side of Malaysia, Terengganu or let's say Kelantan, if you go through the new highway going towards the Terengganu and Kelantan, most rocks there are sedimentary rocks, and they show very, very, very beautiful formations there. For me personally, I'm a structural geologist. I love that very much. I haven't had the opportunity to see them myself, but my lecturer has shared photos with me. And other formations that maybe everyone nearby can go and see is let's say Bukit Tabo in the Wangsa Malawati area. Okay, people like to go hike there for the view. All right, those are actually quartz ridges. Those are igneous rocks. And one more example I could give nearby to everyone. You have to go just a bit further, but maybe in Ipoh, where the limestones there, the formation of limestones there are as well, very breathtaking. If only everyone understands how breathtaking all of those are.
Thank you so much for sharing those. I've actually been to Bukit Tabo myself before they closed it and said you have to have a guide. And it's actually quite dangerous there, so you need to have some experience. I almost felt
Yes.
actually it was really scary, but it was really beautiful also actually. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Back to Vinisha.
All right. Thank you very much, Ian. Yeah. Thank you very much, Yanni, for the very exciting Q&A session. Thank you, Mr. Puan, for your very insightful answers. Okay, so I'll be sharing the screen again. So, for the follow-up action after the talk would be entitled Valuable Rocks. So find any valuable items that is made up of rocks in your house. Take a picture of you with a valuable item. Tell us how this rock is formed and upload it to your Facebook, tagging at MNS Negeri Sebelah Melaka, hashtag Nature Hero Talks. And you can upload the Facebook link to the Eco Partners online app as well. So you will be able to earn 30 eco points after you have submitted your follow-up action. Okay, don't forget. Right. So now we are going to announce the winners for the quiz. All right. So just a moment. Let me put. Let me stop sharing this. Okay. So here are the quiz results. So before I reveal the winners, I'm going to put a drum roll to. Can y'all hear? Yeah. Okay. So the winners for the quiz for today would be the top 5. So it is Pugalendi, Ashmita, Krishna Sriram, Rajendran, and Dayalini. Congratulations. Okay, please forward your details to the organizer, Mr. Woody, so that he'll be able to send you the quiz prizes. All right. Okay. So now we'll be back to the slides again. Okay. So what Mr. Puat said is very true. You know, geology is actually, it gives us a broad perspective about Earth, and when we dig deep about Earth, we got to know how precious Earth is actually, how precious Earth creations are, and how precious Earth resources are, and we should appreciate, acknowledge, and also preserve our very own Earth creation so that it is here to stay. And not only that, as you can see, Mr. Watt say that geology is also very helpful to protect the environment because we get to learn all of the about managing geohazards and how we can actually learn to reduce it, and how like he mentioned about the illegal bauxite mining and how people and the environment had to suffer due to it. So if you are planning to pursue geology, it'd be a good way for you to know more about Earth itself and how Earth resources is formed, and how Earth itself is, it's an amazing talk. Thank you so much, Mr. Ford, for the amazing talk. So the next talk would be on 7th August 2021 at 2 p.m. The speaker will be me. The topic is about Earth material and its uses. So don't forget, mark your calendars, and we will meet after 1 week. All right. So we would like to thank our volunteers, our speaker, Mr. Muhammad Fuad, our technical support, Mr. Woody, my co-host Yenny, and the quiz master, Mr. Woody, for your help, and thank you so much. And big thanks to you, our audience, for joining us today. It's been an amazing session. It's been a great way for us to actually learn more about our Earth. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will meet you in the next talk. All right? Thank you. Everyone, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
everyone.
Anisha, Yenyi. Take care.
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Who's
you.
that handsome boy?
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye.
Bye.